the year and set some standards and, review previous years of what we have done and what we want to improve on, those sorts of things to set us up, really. It's probably something that I think every time you walk out of Geelong, it sort of really sets up our year and what we want to achieve, I guess, in the long run. So you always get a lot out of it. It's a big 2 weeks. Like I say, it's early starts and late finishes, 9 o'clock at night sort of finishes. So you go straight to bed and then get up ready to go again the next day. But yeah, it's certainly very beneficial for us as a team and our footy this year.
Now, the Iron Bar Award, which you've received on that Army camp, is that still around, Josh? And did they have the Army camp this year or not, or last year?
Not. So the last 2 years they haven't done the full IDQ. We've had a few little mini camps, I guess you could say, just sort of day ones. That isn't the full kit and caboodle like you do when you do a 3-day IDQ. We haven't had as many new recruits the last couple of years, so a lot of us older boys are campaigning to make sure it's on next year because a few of the new boys really need to experience how good an IDQ is. But yeah, it's been a couple of years since they've done a full IDQ.
Now, another new player that should be on one of those camps is of course, your new signing, Stefano Utoikamanu. Now, you think you go to clubs and you're fit, but I keep hearing questions, Josh, and you would have gone through this. You go to Melbourne and there's a different level of fitness. Now, how's he adjusted to the training techniques? Is he fitted in pretty smoothly?
Yeah, Stefano, he's a professional, mate. He's played at some really high levels. Obviously, played Origin and different things like that, and he's a really talented player. And I guess it's adapting yourself coming down here in the training. I think it's all very similar across the NRL. Everyone just has different ways of going about it. And, I think the wrestle, probably the contact sessions were a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
Some of the conditioning we doing that, it's always a bit of a nice little surprise when you get into it for the first time. But like I say, after a week or two, you sort of get into the rhythm of it, and then, as you say, adapt to it. And he's fitted into the group, flawlessly. He's a pretty quiet fella, but once he gets on the field, he's got a lot of talent, and he's certainly athletic. So it'll be exciting to see what he can do for us this year. Yeah,
Josh, you talk about the wrestling and the contact sessions. I know all the clubs do it, but when you went from Newcastle down to there, what was the noticeable difference when you got there?
Probably the conditioning we're doing it. To be fair, it's the wrestle sessions are just as hard as the field sessions, really. We've got a specialist guy that sort of comes in and does some of the wrestle work with us, but we do a lot more tackling these days. I think my first couple of years, and I think you'd speak to older boys that were there before me, and they would say it was even worse. But sometimes you'd spend more than half a session just doing WrestleCon, which doing flip overs and commando rolls, if you've ever heard of those sort of things, unders and overs, different things like that. But it's pretty grueling in a session like that, and then you're expected to get up and fly into each other, and you talk about our technique in that and being able to perform it under fatigue. So it's pretty physically challenging, but also mentally challenging to stay switched on for an hour plus while under that sort of fatigue.
Yeah, I bet. Now, talking about that wrestling conditioning, it's hard work. Is there a player that you avoid when you've got to pick a partner to do your wrestling con? Who is it, or are they avoiding you? If you can't tell me someone, it's you.
Good point, Rat. Yep.
Nah, Nelson. You don't want to he'll eat you up and spit you out.
Yeah, well, mate, just on that, I think just on Nelson, the signing of Stefano, do you think the signing of Stefano coming in can, I guess, help in relation to lightening his load a little bit? Another big man in the middle. Missing Naz in the grand final last year sort of highlighted the fact that probably one man short in the middle, a big body. Stefano, I guess, coming in is there to rectify that. You feel like that's a huge sort of win for Melbourne. Getting Stefano obviously is a huge win, but to having more big bodies in the middle that can really get you going forward. Yeah, certainly. I think, as you say, like a player, that kind of caliber player as Stefano, to be able to get him at Melbourne, it's always nice. But for Nas, I guess, like he is sort of a bit of our wrecking ball through the middle, and he really creates a lot of good things for us. And to have someone like Stefano to be able to line up next to him and
Stefano's not just big; he's athletic. Like he moves very well. So does Nelson. Like for a man of his size, Nelson can move unbelievably well. Stefano really powerful, a lot of speed. I think obviously that's what we want going through the middle, and that's obviously why he's been recruited, to give us a bit more of that punch through the middle.
It's a fairly good 1-2 punch, isn't it? It's frightening. You got Stefano coming, then Nelson off the back fence after that. Now, just going onto the grand final. I mean, I'm a Shark, obviously, Josh. Like I grew up as a Shark, so I want to see the Sharks win. So my heart says Sharks, but looking at the way you guys performed in the grand final, you got yourself to the grand final of your season last year, you must be going into this season, and I don't know how you handle it. Do you go in it with a chip on your shoulder after last year, or do you go into it thinking we were the best team last year, we didn't get the job done in the big game, but we'll get it done this year? Like, how do you go into this season after a tough loss in the grand final?
I think it's hard to lose in a grand final, and I think it certainly made us all a lot hungrier. Plenty of us, that was our first grand final. There's only probably a handful of blokes that had played in one, a couple of that have won one before this. But for a lot of our guys, that was their first taste of NRL grand final footy. So it's a little bit more of a fire, I think, for us. We're pretty hungry to go after it again. But in saying that, it takes so much work to get to a grand final. There's obviously preseason, and there's 27 rounds before the finals even start. So to be one of the top two teams left at the end of the year, it's a lot of work and, a lot of luck that comes into it too, to be able to keep a fit and healthy squad for the entire year, to be able to make it that far. So it's, we're confident in what we can do as a team, but at the same time, there's a lot of work that needs to be done before we can even be thinking about, getting to the final stage. That's for sure. It's 1 week at a time. It's at the moment, it's one training session at a time. We're still building who we want to be for this year. We're still heavily in pre-season. Yesterday we had a pretty grueling session down there at Goshes Park in Melbourne. So Bellamy still having a lot of fun with us, running us around at the moment. But once the season starts, hopefully we can get off to a good start and, as I say, stay fit and healthy.
Hey, now on Bellamy, Craig Bellamy, the social media that popped up over the last few days of him trying to recognise the voices of the players. Now, he got you very early because we know that Frankie Panisi has told us that you're one of his favourites. We know that. So he nailed your voice easy. But he actually couldn't guess his own son Aaron's voice. Now, that's concerning.
Yeah, no, it is a little bit concerning. He's always the forgotten child, Aaron. It was his birthday. It was his birthday not too long ago, and I'm not even sure Craig even knew. I don't know if Craig messaged him or not. I wouldn't actually know. It's the ongoing joke. I think that Craig's got plenty of sons down there between, the likes of the Dale Fanukins and people like that have left, and then you've got the Harry Grants that are there now. So the wheel's looking to be split up a fair few ways. I don't know how much Aaron's actually going to get of it in the end. But,
nice. Hey, now we're going to let you go with some quickfire questions. It's the blowtorch here on Sportsday. So first thing that comes to your mind, don't need to go into heavy detail, but if you're taking one player that you've ever played with to a street fight, who is it?
Nelson.
Okay, nice, yeah. Do you believe in UFOs and aliens?
Unsure. I think there's something out there.
I like it.
Okay. Now, if there was any player you've played with that would have an OnlyFans account, would there be one player you could nominate?
OnlyFans. Jeez, that's a tough one.
Have
Maybe. I'm trying to think through it. Probably Cameron Munster.
Yeah,
Cameron Munster.
him or Pappy. Pappy's a brand now. So,
isn't he?
Hey, what about if you robbed a bank with a teammate because you know that they weren't going to give you up? Who is it?
Xavier Coates.
Xavier Coates. Okay, who would give you up if you robbed a bank with them?
Oh, Harry Grant, he'd dob you in for sure.
He'd
dob you in to get away himself.
Okay. Pickle or no pickle on your hamburger?
No pickle.
Oh, come on.
Okay. And if there was a zombie apocalypse and it's just you and one of your teammates that you've played for in your career that you had to stay alive with for the rest of your life, who are you taking with you?
Oh, Oh, geez.
Think about fighting off the
Another hard
zombies
one.
too.
Yeah.
You got to fight off the zombies.
You've got to be a lot of strategy about this.
You got to, it's not as easy as you're just a person you want to hang out with.
Do you know what? I'm going to pick Big Tui Kamikamica.
Oh, there you
He's
go.
a large Fijian man.
He's a
built
survivor.
like rock,
Yeah.
Be able to fight him off. And,
Yep.
and he's a good man too. He's a real good man.
He'd catch fish
Wouldn't
for
mind
you.
spending
He
time
could do everything.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Oh, everything.
Good shout
He's
out.
all over it, Big Tui.
So this Saturday is family day at Gosh's paddock at Amy Park. $10,000 up for grabs
Wow.
in a kick for cash. How
I'm
good's
going
that?
down.
How good is that? Yeah, outstanding.
Nice one.
Hey,
Come down, boys. Come down.
you'll be love to have some breast milk in my
coffee.
In my coffee. You'll be there amongst it again, Joshy King, and we know that you're always amongst it each and every week for your beloved Storm. Thank you very much, mate, for joining us on Sports Day, and we'll talk to you during the year.
Good on you, Josh.
Thank you, boys. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Thanks for watching. For more great content, subscribe to SEN League, your home of the greatest game of all.